How you guys doing today? It's Anthony Gangi, host of Tier Talk, and today I saw a tough video. It takes place in Riker's Island where a captain was assaulted on Thanksgiving, assaulted badly by an inmate. And unfortunately, if you watch the video closely enough, you'll see that there was support there, and the one gentleman ran in the opposite direction. Now again, I was giving the gentleman a benefit of doubt. Maybe he was looking for an alarm to notify the facility of the incident, but I'm being told elsewise. And again, whether that's true or not, all I can say is inside the correctional facilities, all we have is each other. That's all we have. We have to be dependent on each other. It forces us into that situation. So we have to be more than just talk, because shit will hit the fan. And when I walk down a tier, my partner, I'm forced to be dependent on you in case something happens. Anyway, as I was looking at the video, a discussion happened where how would I feel as management if I had to write up an officer for saving another officer's life or for saving a staff member's life if a policy had been violated? And that's a very, very, very tough question to answer. And it's definitely worthy of a discussion, because management sees the greater picture, and sometimes custody only sees the immediate level. But again, management also has to see how it feels for that individual on that immediate level. And again, that's where communication is a must when something like this happens. So the one incident that we were talking about, we was actually talking about a few incidents, but one was an incident where an officer saved another officer's life, but unfortunately he had the emergency response keys on him. Now, even though nothing happened, there was still the chance that those keys could have been taken. So the officer, I believe, was written up and was terminated. There's another incident that they're discussing on my wall about an officer abandoning a suicide post to save another officer, where again, you have the intent. It's a good intent. I got to save that officer's life. He's my brother. She's my sister. I got to save that person's life. But then there's that violation of policy where you're leaving your area vulnerable. There's another issue that's tough, where you're an officer in a secured post watching another officer do a count or checking on their area of control, and they get assaulted right in front of you, and you have the keys to open up that gate to go help that officer. But by doing so, you could sacrifice the integrity of the whole facility. Now, the one officer who's being attacked, he needs help. She needs help. And the officer behind the cage wants to get involved, has the impulse because that's their brother and sister getting assaulted. But they know for a fact that if they open up that cage, they could get taken out, and now a whole nother area of the facility could be sacrificed. So they have the bigger picture in mind. But if the officer did open that gate in the intent to save that officer's life, would I have to write that officer up? I mean, again, I'd have to look at the outcome of what happened. Was that area taken over? Was there a concern? But yes, there would have to be a discipline, even though the intent was pure. Because I would be tough for me to do, to watch somebody get assaulted and I'm right in front of them and it's someone I love and I respect. But then I have to look at the bigger picture, the individual versus the facility. Plus, by opening up that cage, I could be sacrificing the response team who would have a better chance at saving that individual. So I do have to look at the bigger picture. And sometimes we have officers who get mad when they get locked in inside a unit. They get mad because they feel, well, you're not giving us a chance to protect ourselves by running out if something hits the fan. Every area, an officer, like a unit, should have a secured area for that officer to retreat into. But as for having the keys to exit out of the facility or out of that unit, the reason why we don't give you those keys is if a group of inmates are coming at you, your motivation, because it would be mine, is to run out. And with those keys, I can open up that door, and now I just sacrificed another area of the facility. Also, without those keys, maybe the inmates would be less motivated to come after you, because what would be the end result? Where are you going to go? But again, in today's world, that's different now. We have a lot of random attacks. 2 riots. Delaware, we lost 1. North Carolina, we lost 4. So you really is no rhyme or reason anymore. But at the end of the day, I don't want to further motivate the inmate. So the reason why we don't give staff those keys is, one, their motivation may be to take the threat out. Because again, you got a bunch of inmates coming at you. I got to protect myself. You know, I got to protect myself. I can't hold ground here. There's too many. But also it may limit the motivation of the inmates to come after the officer. Because again, you get the keys, what's going to happen? And that also explains the hostage rule, where we don't negotiate for hostages. Again, it's meant to protect the officer because of the numbers. You're so outnumbered, there's nothing to stop them from taking you out or from holding you hostage. So we need to minimize that. But again, in today's world, it's a lot different. But it was just a great discussion. And it's very hard for management, and it should be hard for management, to have to write up an employee or discipline an employee for saving the life of another. But again, they do have to look at the bigger picture. They have to look at the consequences or the potential consequences of what could have happened. And that's where we have that conflict. But again, communication, guys. At least as management, hear the justification from front line before you go right to that pen. And also from front line, if you have to get discipline, at least try to understand the perspective of management. It's communication. Communication, guys. Love you guys. Stay safe.